Hello, friends. Welcome to a brand new project that I am starting with a very dear friend of mine. So we wanted a platform where we could talk about Otome, and we had been kind of talking about it. Mainly, it was my friend's idea she kind of wanted to do like a book club type thing where we talked about, it's kind of like you read a chapter in the book and then you talk about it. We're going to do like the mostly probably what we'll end up doing is going to be doing a route in a game, talking about it, discussing it, and kind of doing it in that kind of order. But who knows, maybe we'll talk about other games that are not strictly Otome but has romance elements to it. You know what, we'll do whatever the heck makes us happy, because that's what the point of life is. And now that I have talked your ear off for the past minute or so, hello, friend Wintie, hello, say hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. This is my friend Wintie. We started chatting on Twitter. We shared a very common passion for Otome, and it just kind of turned into a blossoming friendship that we have today. Yay.
So glad I met you.
I know. It's great. It's great to be able to talk, because I don't know that many people that they know of Otome, and some of them know kind of the games, but they just they're not into it as much as I'm into it. And it's like, you're like my outlet where like I'll play a route and I'm like, oh my god, like what is happening? And you're like, I know, it killed me. And
the struggle is real. Finding somebody who shares it.
It makes it so much easier. So we're going to have a little intro. We're going to get to know each other a little bit. I will reintroduce myself if you haven't seen me before on my other podcast that I do with Oliver on Gigi's channel, called the Shoujo Trash Showdown. I also do a lot of streaming. So if you don't know me there, I'm introducing myself again. Or if you knew, hello, hi, how are you? I'm glad you are here. We are glad you are here. So we're going to just get it right off the bat. So I am going to ask you some questions that I thought would be fun to ask.
All right, bring it.
So we're gonna bring it on like Donkey Kong. So I guess we should say the name of this whole endeavor. It is a play on Super Mario World, and it's Super Otome World, because I thought, games, I love Mario, I love Otome, why the heck not? So thus the name was born. Now back on track.
So well.
I know, and it fits so well. It's so fun. So now back on track with my interview. So Wintie, I want to know what made you like Otome? What was the game that was like, yep, this is it. This is what I am into.
The game that got me into it. Well, so that was actually a Voltage game that actually started me off on my path of destruction to just, Otome everything.
Uh-huh.
And I spent a lot of money, cries, tears of blood.
It got serious.
But it was Be My Princess, which is my very first Otome game I ever played by Voltage Inc. The very first guy I played was Wilfred, which is the blonde guy you see in the picture over here. He was my very first love, very first hubby, everything like that in between. And I just loved the whole aspect of it being, a princess and, a prince, and then, it makes you a princess eventually, throughout the story. It's so good. And that's what started my spiraling down Otome hell, but, it's great.
Well, that's good. That's, there's always a, what is it? I can't remember. A seed to have a fandom grow. And for me, my drug of choice for bringing me into this was everyone's favorite game of Mystic Messenger. When I first got into this, I was following someone on Instagram, I don't even know, and they posted some sort of picture or something about it, and I was like, what is this game? Like, I think I kind of heard of Otome, but it was to me, when I first knew about it, it was called a dating sim, and I thought that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
weird. I did play. There was something on the DS I played. It was a very strange game, and I think it was more geared towards guys, so I didn't really know. It was weird because it was like touch something. There was one part where it's like an outline of a woman. You're supposed to like use your stylus and like tickle her or something, and there was like other mini games in it. And then it was a very popular game when it first came out. I don't remember. It was like
Fire Emblem?
no. It
Okay,
had
my
a
bad.
lot of like kind of mini game type stuff in it. I used to have it. I don't have it anymore. I got rid of it. But I can't remember what it was. But it was like touch something, and one of the modes or mini games in it was like a dating thing, and like I was in a club and I was supposed to be picking up these girls. I was like, oh, I can totally pick up a girl. I'm a girl. I know what girls like, right? I know this. No, no, ma'am. They dunk me every time. I was like, I don't know what you're doing wrong. That was
Poor Gwen.
years ago. Right, poor me. I can't even pick up girls. I'm lonely forever. Thank God for my husband who dealt with me or is dealing with me. But then, so that was, I guess that was like, not really Otome, but I guess the visual novel aspect of it. But actual Otome that I played was Mystic Messenger, and the first route I played was, I believe it was Zen's route. Yes, I played Zen's route first. I wanted to play 707. I was obsessed with 707, but then with the game mechanics, you can't play 707 first. I was like, God damn it.
Well, you could if you wanted to spend, a certain amount of hourglasses right off the bat.
No. Well, I don't know. In the game, I don't think it let you at all. I couldn't
Did it
even
not?
enter. I don't think so, but because that's deep story, casual story, I guess. Oh, I played Zen, and then I played Yusong, and then I think I tried. Oh, and then I went to 707. I thought you had to do all the routes before 707, but somehow I managed to be able to play. I don't remember what I did. But then I played 707, and I did all the extra stuff that they had at the beginning to kind of complete his story or complete the story. I don't really know how to describe it. And then I tried to play Juman Han's route, and then I just couldn't get into it because I became even more obsessed with 707. So I was like, I should have done his route because I probably would have enjoyed it more if I hadn't had just jumped the gun and played 707's route. But that's what I did. And at the time I wasn't working, so you best know I had alarms. I was not missing a chat at all. That was also before they updated the app where you could like change the time, the like clock on your phone. Like if you close the app, change the clock on your phone, and then open up the app, you could like go back in time and like do a chat room without spinning hourglasses. Well,
Oh gosh.
Chariots definitely caught on to that, and you can only, the game will register when you first open it, and if you close it, and then if there's a time difference, I think you can do it like once every like 10 days or something like that, because they're like, hey, maybe someone's traveling, maybe they got into a different time zone, maybe, whatever the case may be. But if if it notices you doing it too frequently, it like locks your account. So they definitely caught on to that. But this was my intro, my gateway drug to Otome.
Yeah, I played Junhan, of course. Well, I played all the people. The only one I really wasn't interested in was probably Jaehee. And not just because she was like, like a girl, like a friendship route. I really didn't like her personality much.
Yeah, I didn't like how it felt like she was forcing herself onto Zen, like, notice me, notice me, notice me. And it's like, was a little, like, I get it, but at the same time, it was like too much. And I felt like she couldn't take a joke. And I just felt like if she could like, somehow her character developed where she like relaxed a little bit, I think she would have been more of an enjoyable character, but she never got to that point. So
which is like really crazy too, because she was like, the person to manage Juman Han, right? And even Juman at times would have like he crack, like, I mean, obviously really bad jokes, but he would crack jokes. Jaehee really never did.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it was just those little things there that I didn't really appreciate her character much.
I wish she
but,
was not a friendship. I was like, oh, this is interesting. We're actually going to have like a mix. And that's what I was expecting. But then when I kind of read more, it was like, oh, it's just a friendship. And I was like, oh, come on. Just make it an actual, like, Yuri, like, make them actually not, like, don't, I would have actually, I ended up not playing her route because I wanted it to be a love story for her, and it ended up being, like, a best friend, but they're like, well, it's secretly. I'm like, oh, no. I don't want alleged. I want actual good ending, like, girl relationship. That's what I wanted. I don't want alleged or beating around the bush. Like, no. That bush has been beaten too hard. No.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I didn't want that. That's not what I think it would have been better. Okay, we're talking too much about this. So we need to move on. But maybe we'll have a podcast about Mystic Messenger. I don't know. I haven't played it in like years, so that might be hard to do because I probably forgotten a lot. So moving on. So now for other personal preference, what do you think was an Otome or reverse harem type anime that was kind of like either a first or and at least to your memory and your mind, the one that kind of made you want to watch more reverse harem type content?
Yeah. So like I didn't actually touch it. Like, so what actually got me really into the actual Otome genre in general was reverse harems. Because, you figured out just by watching them, you look up, like, on Google, for images, because everybody does that every now and then. And then I would see, like, images of, like, games, and like, whoa, what's this? Of course, it's all in Japanese,
Shocker.
So you can't play it, and you're just like, oh, it makes me so sad. But, so the very first thing that got me in, the very first reverse harem that I remember watching that kind of, like, made me realize, oh my gosh, there's such thing as Otome games, is Utano Prince Sama. Because it's just, gosh, like, I think that was, like, the very first one I watched. I loved it, like, so much when it first came out. I mean, I still love it to this day now. The only thing I had a tendency to not really like much about the series was Haruka's eyes.
She had such empty
almost
eyes.
Looks blind.
She looks like she's just empty, and it's like she needed, like, eyes do so much, especially in animation, for a character, and it just felt like she was empty. I wasn't a fan of the emptiness either.
Yeah, that was one thing. But, like, I loved all the characters, all the guys. Like, they all had such, like, passion for, like, the music they were doing, and the music was just so catchy. And I just loved it so much. Obviously, my favorite boy was Tokyo. Tokyo. Tokia. He was my very first, actually, like, Otome hubby crush that I actually ever had on anybody. It was just, oh my god, I loved him so much.
He's pretty dreamy. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. He is dreamy. Second one I would probably say was probably Makoto. I think it was Makoto was his name. The blue-haired guy. Hidejikawa or something like that. Hakata?
Masato?
Masato, yeah, him.
I call him.
He's probably my second.
The way I describe his hair is like rich boy hair, because I feel like every single time you watch like any movie, regardless anime, live action, whatever, they always have like rich boy hair, and it's always kind of like that Backstreet Boy kind of haircut. Like, it's, I don't know, that I call that rich boy hair. I don't know why, but I was like, oh yeah, rich boy hair right there. Like he listens, so he has his hair based off of how they want it, and yeah, that's just, I don't know, I call it rich boy hair. But I definitely do share a love for Utano Prince Sama. I would say Tokia and Otoya were definitely my first two that I really, really, really enjoyed. The more I watch it, the more I like the other characters. But my other favorite character that shows up later on in the series is I absolutely adore I in every way, shape, or form. Some people think it's weird because of what you learn about him, but I love I think he's...
I love...
And I love Shota, and I also like Tokia's voice actor, Mama Miyano. I absolutely love both of them, and I stan their characters, their voice actors. They're all great people in real life and in animation. It's a blessing in its form. But I guess for me, I don't really remember. So my friend Raquel, she when I lived overseas in Sweden, we used to get on Xbox and either game or we get on voice chat and like stream an anime together. So I know she recommended, it was Kamigami no Asobi, and we watched it together and I absolutely loved it. And then I was like, oh my God, I need more of this. She goes, oh, there's a whole bunch of anime that's like this. I was like, no way. She's like, yeah. Like, okay, so let's back up a little bit. I was really into anime as a child. I got out of anime until I really got more into it when I moved to Sweden. And at the time, who's my fiance, but now husband, he was like, watch whatever makes you happy, do whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get more back into anime. And I was just like, there was a year where I watched 100 different anime shows in 1 year.
Oh my God.
Yes, yeah, it was quite intense, so to say. So, yeah. And so I watched this with Raquel. We streamed it and watched it together, and I absolutely love it. I love all the characters. I think my favorite ones is definitely Hades. He's the one with like kind of that darker green hair.
I love him so much too.
I know, he's so precious. And I really, really, really like Balder, which is the long blonde hair. And I also like Apollo. I'm gonna call him Apollo because that is his proper name. He's the only one who they give him a weird name. I don't know why they call him Apollon. It's Apollo. I also like Apollo. I also like Loki a little bit. I mean, Loki's kind of, they're all really adorable characters.
I love Stukito.
Yes. And so there may have been one before this that I watched, but I can't remember. But this one's definitely where I was like, oh my God, I need to watch more. And then she made me watch Amnesia. And I remember watching Amnesia, and I'm watching this, and my husband walks in. He's like, what are you watching? I was like, oh, it's called Amnesia Memories. And he's like, what's going on? What's it about? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, oh, okay. And he come back, and I'm like, watch another episode, and he's like, so what's it about? Do you know what's going on? I have no idea what's going on. And like, that's just the nature of the anime. You just don't know what the hell is going on until like the end, which is not how the game is. But you know, details. No spoilers. Hopefully no spoilers. Moving on. So those are I guess our gateway reverse harem animes. But there is an anime that we both share, kind of near and dear to our hearts. It's just a very unique combination of things, in my opinion, and I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know. It's different. It's different. Would you say it's not your normal reverse harem anime, at least in my opinion? Would you like to give the honors of introducing this anime?
All right, so this anime that we both share that is beautiful and oh my God, is Dance with Devils.
It's so like, I don't know. It's strange because most of the time when I say my favorite character is, like, most people can probably guess, oh, Gwen's probably like more like this or more like that. Like with watching this anime, and someone who knows me would probably say, I can't remember his name, the redhead.
Lindo.
Yeah. So they probably would say either him, because I do, most of the characters that I like are redheads, so they probably would like, is it the redhead? And we're like, no, it's not. And then they probably would go to Rem, and I'd be like, no, it's not. And then they would just go, the last one they probably would be Shiki, which is the fallen angel, which is in the right hand top corner, and he's, sadistic and kind of, he pretty much wants you to step on him. So
oh yeah, totally.
And that's not my typical character of choice, but you know what? I kind of dig him. I really kind of like his personality. But yours is not the sadistic one, is it?
Oh, no, mine is Rem. So when I first saw the advertising for this anime series, I actually did think I was probably gonna like Lindo, cause like he was like more like my type. Like when I first saw Rem, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna really like him on the thing. I was like thinking either Lindo or Urie are probably gonna be my two favorites. But I ended up really falling head over heels for Rem. It's just, oh my god, my boy. He has been my downfall for the past couple of years. I honestly, when I try to think about why I love him so much, I can't pinpoint it. Why? I just do.
Yeah. It's the same with Shiki. If someone's like, but why? And I'm like, but why not? Is the answer. That's the question I want to answer for your question. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh. That's definitely
And
my
it's a
answer
musical
as well. Oh yes, that's the best part.
It's a freaking musical. Like, do we have any other reverse hero musicals? We absolutely do not. This is the only one.
Kamigami Natsu was kind of close because they had the two ending, like the ending song they were actually singing in. Just gonna say, but I mean, it wasn't an actual
usually
musical.
the voice actors in the anime will sing the opening or closing song, or at least one of them will sing something.
Yeah,
they're usually all singers anyway, but they do sing all of them. I really like. I think it's the ending. Is that the ending where they're like, she's like
the Mademoiselle song?
Yeah, is that the one with like the really cool animation and like kind of pop art kind of? Like it's like silhouettes and then like the person, but it's like their face is blacked out so you can't really see that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's that one.
Okay, I really
love
like the ending song. It's so good. But yeah, and then so if we want to move on, wait, what?
I was going to say the story also for Dance Devils. If you guys have not seen it, check it out, please, please.
It will make her day. Make her day complete.
Oh yes, totally. And then you have to love Rem too. Just saying.
And you have to love him. He's on the other side. He's. I think one of my favorite parts in that anime is the ending and like the outfits they have in the ending. Oh.
Yeah, Shiki's outfit.
Oh, hello, sirs. Oh, especially Lindo's outfit. I think his is the one that. Hello. Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah, gosh.
Is good stuff. Is good stuff.
Beautiful.
So going on to other, I guess, platforms. Another question that I wanted to ask was, what is a game that is just, it holds on to you if it gets released or ported or merch or a special edition or something comes out for it, you're buying it because you're like, I just love it. What is that game that just always has that tight hold on your wallet that it just won't let it go?
Oh, yes. That would be Hakoki or Hakuoki, however you pronounce it. I love this series. I watched it first as an anime, of course, as every Otome game, you pretty much watch it as a reverse harem. If it comes out in anime first, that's what you watch first.
Yeah. Well, it's easier for us to watch it as the anime first because we're most likely going to get at least the subbed of the anime, but the game, probably.
Yeah.
It's a guessing game if we'll ever get it.
Yeah. And Hakoki it's just, all the characters have really like attached themselves to me. Like I do love all of the characters, the stories. Like I cry while watching the anime, and I have actually cried reading the actual story on my Vita as well. My favorite character on there is obviously Saito Hajime. So
He's your favorite.
He is my favorite character. I will play him no matter what. Every single game I play, he has to be the very first person I play. Hands down.
Isn't there another one? I thought I saw something. They're coming out with another Hakuoki game.
I thought I heard that too. I'm hoping it's not. The sad part about it is we've had the same game released so many times here in the
kind of annoying.
being ported. Yeah, it's been the same game. The only thing that they added in Kyoto Winds and the other one was that they added a couple of new characters that were never introduced before. But other than that, though, it's been generally speaking the same story. So I'm hoping that they do bring the new one, it is actually a new game and not just a re-edition of the same story over again.
Isn't there another one where they're like high school students or something?
Yes. Oh my god, I
think-
need that game.
I feel like I see people requesting that game. Like it's not something where it's like flooding, but it's like it gets brought up quite frequently. And I hello, Idea Factory International. I know I haven't played any of the Hakuoki games, but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed if all it took for me is to play all the Hakuoki games on the Vita for you to release it. I will see you with no sleep and get that done. I will get that done. And it's just, I want it to come. I mean, I feel like I feel like I'd probably play that game first before I played the actual Hakuoki games. I don't know why I'm so like, I don't know. Everyone loves it so much, so I'm like, ugh, is it gonna be one of those things where everyone just loves it and I just like absolutely hate it? I have them. I haven't played them. I need to just bite the bullet, and I need to start with Your Best Boy and just see why you love it so much.
I personally think you are gonna really, really like the series. It's like, if you it is like a period story, so it is based off like old Japan, stuff like that, with like samurais and stuff like that. But I mean, it's still such a good story. I really, really like it. Next after Saito would definitely be Kazuma, my next favorite character. But it's just, there's just so many likable characters. I just love it so much. And they have to bring that school game. If they don't bring it, I'm gonna just cry like forever, knowing that that game's out there that I'm never gonna get anything.
It's more of a fact of like, what are you waiting for? You have seen the success of Axes and them selling out games. Like, there's some games that they've released on the Vita and on the Switch that are sold out. Like, you can probably go online somewhere and it's somewhere, but I mean, on their store, on their website, they have no stock. So I mean, that speaks about it more than words. That's stats and numbers speaking. I guess my version of that would be Code Realize. I love Cardia. I think why I liked Cardia so much is because I played Mystic Messenger first, and the main character doesn't have a face. She doesn't have... the only thing she speaks is when you have an option to say something. So she doesn't really... It really is a game that is self-insert. But at the same time, it's like it sucks a little bit because you don't have, like, it's not like an actual character. She's not a character, she's you. So it's, I don't know. And then after that, I played Amnesia, which, if you haven't noticed, the main character says absolutely nothing. She says nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing.
She has, there's no lines. And even when you click an option, it doesn't show up as like you're saying it. It's just like they take it, like you've said it to them. And it's like a lot of times in the games when it has, like, it'll show the character, but then it will also on the bottom have like their name or like a little image next to them because they're speaking. But in Amnesia, it doesn't, like, there's no you. Like, it literally, there's no character development for a main character. But then playing Code Realize, she has a personality. She speaks other than the words or options that you pick. And it's her personality is so strong and so, she's so independent. And I think that's probably what drew me to her character so much. I mean, I even cosplayed her, for crying out loud, which, let me tell you, that costume is a bitch to make. It is a pain in the ass. I want to remake it because I see all my mistakes, but it is so difficult to make. But her outfit is so beautiful. Her personality is great. I love the characters. I probably thought my favorite character was going to be Saint Germain, but nope, it's the redhead. It's that beautiful Impy locks, that beautiful red locks of just, yes, sir. I love it. He is.
Yeah, you would have thought you would have liked Saint Germain because he's voiced by the same voice actor as Shinji.
And I love that voice. Like, both character. Like, I do like all of the characters. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I don't know. I was just drawn to Impy, and I just loved his personality, and yeah, I love Impy. He's a blessing, and he's adorable. He's funny. He likes to have crack jokes, and then like his relationship with Lupin is just, I think it's hilarious. Now,
It's comical.
I haven't repurchased this game. I just have it on the Vita. I have not.
Guilty.
I really want, like, the temptation is real to buy it on the Switch, and I wish they did like one big release of all 3 games, like as one package. Like,
Me too.
I feel like I would have spent $120 on that and not on the individual. Like, a really nice box with really nice art, and then you open it up and it has like a semi big art book and maybe a keychain of the characters, some art cards. Like, if they wanted to go all out, I would have most likely would have purchased that as one big package than as the individual releases that they did.
I definitely agree.
I do really like the box art a lot on the Switch versions versus the Vita. And their boxes were probably better because the second Code Realized game, my box was so cheap, thin cardboard, and it got messed up in shipment because Amazon decided to put it in a bubble mailer. Okay.
Oh yeah,
assholes.
same thing with me too.
I'm like, no, this should have been in a box with inflatable pillows, but you put a box. No, that's not how this works. I was so angry. And they're like, well, it's completely sold out. We don't have any others to replace it. We'll give you $20. And I'm like, I mean, I guess whatever. But the temptation is real when it comes to rebuying these.
I totally get that. I've been contemplating it as well myself. It's really hard when you like feel like this time I kind of feel like I'm not supporting them, not getting the Switch, but then I'm like thinking, but you were supported it already, getting it for the Vita. Right. Don't feel bad for not supporting it when you are supporting it, but it's just
yeah. I think they knew sales are. I mean, they shouldn't have expected everyone to go and rebuy it. Yeah, maybe one day I'll just bite the bullet and get it just because I love it. But right now I do not. I look at it often, but I have not purchased it. But I don't know what else to ask. I don't know what else is a good intro. We thought it would be good to kind of show you the Otome games that are available. I guess I included one digital title for Vita, which we didn't realize that this is quite a range. We didn't realize there was this many Otome games for the Vita in English.
No, it's because we're playing it.
Right, we're playing it. It goes back on the shelf. We grab the next one. It goes back on the shelf. So it's like you don't see them all lined out. I didn't include any fan discs or continuations. So just one for Code Realized, but there are 3 games for Code Realized. The Hakuoki, there's Kyoto Winds, and then Endo Blossom. So there's the 2, which I think that's half of the story is in one and it's not like half the boys are in one and the other half of the boys. It's like literally half the story and then half the story, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. So if you ever watched like the anime, like the first one's based off kind of when they're still like the Shinsengumi and like they're like the main Shinsengumi, and then the second one's like when they kind of branched off to be more Western. That's like the second half of the story. So
So I always thought that was weird, and I think a lot of people, I don't think that was translated to people when it came out, and there was a lot of bad kind of negative feedback from it because I don't think people realized it was half of a game, so to say, because I probably would have been equally confused because I didn't really find anything that it was the way that it was split up. I thought, because there's like, what, 14, 15 boys, and I don't know how many there are. There's a lot.
Quite a bit.
So that's what I thought it would be. It would be like half the boys, and then you can read the other boys. Like, I think since you mentioned when you talked about how Kuoki is, they introduced some newer characters. So I think it would have been interesting if they did like half of the original boys with either, I don't know how many of them are new, with like one of the new ones or half of the new ones, and then the other one was the other half of the boys with the other half of the new boys. So I think that would have probably gone better with people, because then they could have completed a story, so to say.
Yeah.
But you couldn't complete a story and then you had to wait, which kind of sucks. And yeah. But
yeah,
they're both out now. You can buy them. They're available on multiple platforms, like you mentioned, the Switch, the PSP, I think PS3, the DS. There's some weird hack and slash game that I downloaded when it was on sale for like 99 cents. It's not worth it. It's quite terrible. I didn't play it for that long. There may be a story somewhere in there, I don't know, but the gameplay is atrocious, and nope. I played it for like 20 minutes and I was like, I'm done. So actually, interestingly enough, Hakuoki, even though technically all of these games you are seeing on your screen right now, all of these games are from Otome / Idea Factory. But the only games that Idea Factory, Otome, have released in the West is Hakuoki and Amnesia Memories. Just the first one. No fan discs for Amnesia Memories. I guess it's the same for Hakuoki, because I think there's a second game coming out soon from what I thought I saw. Plus, there's kind of like an altered Hakuoki game that we mentioned, but those are not in English. So we just have the main games for those two. So no, there's two more for Amnesia. Amnesia Crowds and Amnesia Ladder, I believe is what it's called. I think one is a continuation, like a normal fan disc, but I think one is like an altered universe, or
I think I saw it has like a new character or something like that in one of them.
Yes, I believe one of them has a newer character, and I think Orion is like non-kid form, like he has like an adult form too.
You don't say.
You don't say.
I didn't know.
I think. I don't know. But yeah, so kind of just to roughly go over the other games, all of them are released by, all of them, but there's one other one I'll mention last. Almost all of the rest are released by Axes, which is a localization game. I believe they're based out of California. So they have translated the games and released these in physical and digital forms. So what we have on the Vita is Color X Malice. We have Bad Apple Wars, of course, Code Realize,
Psychedelica, the Black Butterfly.
Psychedelica, the Black Butterfly, Psychedelica of the Ashen Hawk, which, no, technically they are their own independent stories, but you really should play the Black Butterfly before playing Ashen Hawk, because the endings kind of marry together and it would make more sense and not really spoil something for you. So definitely play Black Butterfly before Ashen Hawk. And then we have Seven Scarlet, as well as Norn 9, which I believe Norn 9 also has one or two fan discs that we do not have.
Yes.
Code Realize does have their fan discs. All of them are on the Vita, as well as the Switch, or eventually on the Switch. I don't know if they're out just yet, depending on when you're listening to this. Color and Malice, the fan disc, is coming out on the Switch, not the Vita, but just the Switch. But the original game is coming out on the Switch as well. So if you haven't played it or don't have a Vita, don't worry. You can play everything on the Switch if you have the Switch or planning on getting the Switch. And then last is a
London Detective Mysteria.
Yes, London Detective Mysteria. This was released physical via Limited Run Games. I don't remember what company, or is it the actual company that released it?
It was Xseed.
It was Limited Run. If you try to buy it, good luck. It's probably extremely expensive secondhand or aftermarket online, which kind of sucks. I don't know how many they released. I believe it was like 1,500 for the normal release, and then they did a limited release that came with a CD, which I apparently had fast enough fingers to order. And I do have that with the CD. I haven't played it. I have it. I played the demo there, but you can get it digitally on the Vita. I also want to mention the Psychedelica games, as well as Seven Scarlet, I believe, is on Steam as well. But it's not released by Axis. It's released by a different company. But I don't know if it's the same translation or if they've changed anything with the translations. I don't know.
Yeah, no clue.
So that is an option for you if you don't have a Vita. I don't know, and I don't think they're going to be porting these games, so that may be the only way that you can play these games is either on the Vita or on Steam. I did want to mention as well, I think London Detective is on Steam as well. I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I think it is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's I honestly really, really wish that, well, wish and hope that they may bring the Mysteria to the Switch, because like they kind of released it at a really bad time. Not gonna lie, it was like the time when like the Vita was really just like dying. It was like, I'm not gonna release any more physical copies for like the Vita. So it came at that exact time. So when they first released it, it was just a digital release. Remember, I was so sad about that too, because I do have a tendency to like to have the physical copy.
Me too.
It's just a nice feeling of having the copy to look at and like, I played that game or something like that.
Right,
You know?
or you finish the game and it's on your shelf and it's like, you're able to see the games you've completed, and it's, I agree. And also if I want to lend someone the game, or maybe I just, you know what, I didn't really have a good experience playing this game, I want to sell it so someone who does really like it can have it, or someone else can play it. It's just, it's nice to be able to have that freedom with the physical. So that's why I prefer physical over digital. Now there's tons of other digital games on Steam. That's way too much for us to divulge in. Maybe we'll talk about or play. I mean, I have been streaming a little bit of Taisho X Alice on my channel. I still haven't completed the first route. I need to get back into it and finish that. But I have not finished that. It's an interesting translation. It's better than what the original was. That was a disaster. But it also is weird. Like, they talk about Dunkin' Donuts and like Starbucks, and I'm like, but it's also like Victorian age, and they talk about like going through a drive-through or something, and I'm like, okay.
How do you weren't around the Victorian age? They may have had that and we just didn't know.
I mean, I guess. But there's also a part, it just throws you out of the game a little bit, it feels like, and then randomly it will have like the Japanese as the text. Like, it'll say nani instead of what, and I'm like, well, I know what nani is. I mean, I feel like if you've watched enough anime, you know what nani means. But it will also say like arigato instead of thank you, and I'm like, I don't understand where they're going with that. It doesn't make sense, and it's a little weird. But once I finish it, apparently the next episode is coming out soon. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not going to be rushing to buy it. I still have to finish the first route, Cinderella, and then there's Little Red Riding Hood that I have to finish. But maybe I'll wait for it to go on sale. I don't know. Maybe they have changed the translation to not be so weird. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that is the beautiful library of the Vita. There is also a starting library for the Switch.
Oh my gosh. Which is actually really good, because we are starting off pretty strong compared to like how long it took us to actually get to a pretty solid like release schedule of like the Vita.
Yeah.
So they're starting off really strong with the Switch.
I agree, and I think a lot of us were a little worried at first because they had so many games coming out for the Vita, and then the announcement of the Vita, like no more cartridges, no more physical editions, only digital, if any new games. So pretty much when Sony cut the plug on the Vita, it was like, well, the next option was the Switch. A lot of people think, well, maybe the PS4. And I'm like, yeah, but they've already been talking about a PS5, and it just doesn't make sense it doesn't make sense. And in my opinion, Otome does fit very well with a handheld, because I don't like sitting far away, looking at a screen and then reading.
Yeah, me either.
I prefer having it in my hand to be able to lounge. It kind of like reading a book. Like, I'm not going to read a book on the TV. I don't want to read a visual novel on the TV. So it definitely fits for handheld. So, because they did release Code Realize on the PS4, so I think that's why a lot of people were like, oh, well, they ported that game. Maybe they're going to port other games. So I was like, I don't really know why they did that. I think it's just because the Vita was dying and they didn't really know what was going to happen, maybe. So they thought, well, for other people who may want to play the game, let's put it on the PS4 and just port everything to that game on the PS4. Well, more is not coming out for the PS4, thankfully. Even after an entire year of literally having nothing for us. I mean, there were some digital games that came out that some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are questionable, but they are there. They all go on sale, so do not pay full price. Always wait for a sale. Everything goes on sale on the Switch, so just wait patiently and you'll get a sale. But we have all of Code Realize is being ported. I think the third one just recently came out or is going to come out soon. I believe in June, we are getting the first Color Malice game. No. Yes? No.
I think
the Fandus comes out in June.
Oh, does it?
I think. Oh man, I don't know where I'm at.
And I pre-ordered. I don't remember anymore.
It's so far they've been doing it every 2 months, and I know there's a game that's coming out in September and November, I think. So if we did every 2 months, that would be July, and then hold on, let me look it up.
I think it comes out in July, doesn't it?
It has to be. It might be, I guess, June, July, and then September. We're supposed to be getting, I believe, Cafe Enchante. I think that comes out first. Oh,
I heard
August.
the opposite. I heard Pia Foray, and then I heard Cafe Enchante. That's what I thought I heard.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the order. Okay, so it is out in August. Unlimited. The fan disc for Colored Mouse comes out in August.
Oh yeah, August 2020. So
and then in the fall, winter kind of months, we're gonna get the new titles from Axis localization, which is Cafe Enchante, which is in the top right-hand corner, where it's about a girl who inherits a cafe. She finds out the cafe has a very interesting group of characters that walk into the cafe, and they're all some sort of demon or spirit or angel or god, or
and all male.
God, they're all beautiful males except for one who doesn't have a head and just wears a helmet and just has
so weird
colored flame. I don't know. We'll find out eventually. And then there's the what is it called? Pio
Foray.
It is they're the mafia, and I'm digging it.
I'm down.
And then the last one you see on, I don't really know pretty much the only thing I know about that one is they're mafia, and it's like rival families or something. I think that's pretty much all I know about that game, but I'm really excited. The art looks amazing.
It looks beautiful.
It does. And then the last game that you see on your screen is Nightshade, which is a port. It is technically does not have a North American release on the Switch other than digital. Physical, it actually does have the English version on it. So if you want the physical, you have to import it. It's not too hard to find. It's not cheap. Usually the prices I've been seeing is about $50-$60 for it used, which really is not that bad. Most Japanese games cost about $50-$60. Sometimes the limited releases cost like $100. So it really does fall in line with their pricing that they have in Japan, so that's not abnormal. But obviously you have to import it or find someone who has it here who has already imported it. But that's really nice if you like the physical version, and you can play it in English. It does still have the Japanese version as well if you want to play that, or if you do know Japanese, or maybe you're learning Japanese and you want a game that you can maybe switch between the two languages. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that game is by D3 or 3D. I think that's what they're called. Studios. I think that's their name.
I think so.
They have several other games digital on the Switch, but I think this is like the fan favorite. I think it's also on Steam as well. You said you had the Steam version?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, the Steam version, I would say, is kind of worth your price because they do have two different Steam versions on there.
Oh.
They have the limited edition actually one. So I got the one I got actually came with like a soundtrack and all that extra stuff with it, all digitally though. So, but it came with those extra stuff along with the game. So if you were like not wanting to spend like a lot of money for a physical copy, but would like, you know, a soundtrack and stuff like that, I definitely think Steam will be a good option for you to buy it on.
I agree. Especially if you don't have a Switch, or it's really hard to get a Switch right now unless you want to pay like $600-$700, which is insane. But yeah, or a Switch Lite. Pricing on Switch Lites aren't too bad in the aftermarket right now. So, but definitely keep your eyes open if you are looking for a Switch. Definitely do not pay the pricing that people are charging. As much as I love the Switch, it's definitely not worth the price that people are putting out there. And you're just feeding into somebody who's trying to take advantage of a situation that is happening. So I'm not for that. So I definitely would discourage buying the game or buying the system until you can buy it at the price that Nintendo has set it based off of their overhead. And yeah, that's my opinion.
I'm surprised that the Switch is selling out so much because it's because normally I never heard of like it not happening, like, them not having like game consoles.
It's because of production. They can't make they can't produce as many as they want, and because people are looking for entertainment at home. There's actually, I watched a YouTube video there. I can't remember who did it, but he said there literally was someone made a program that literally continues searching for stock of the Switches and will buy every Switch once it comes into stock for you. So
why?
Because scalpers. That's how some people make money. I understand flipping, and what flipping is different from scalping, because flipping is you buy something, you do something to it, and then you resell it for a higher price because you either improved it, you changed it, you fixed it, you touched it up. Maybe you bought an old Barbie doll, which in good condition maybe has a profit. You buy it super cheap at like Goodwill, whatever. You fix it up, you fix the hair, you do the makeup, you fix everything up, and then you resell it to a collector, to someone who wants the condition that you've presented it in. So you make a little extra cash. Flipping is different. Scalping, you buy something at stock at stock at price. You pretty much are stealing a product away from people who are trying to buy it to be able to flip it, to sell it to people who actually want it. You're buying it because you don't want it, but you want to make money off of it.
Stupid.
Yeah. So that's the state that we're in, but there are options, a lot of options. Also with the Vita, if you don't want to buy the handheld Vita, you can look into the PlayStation TV, which essentially is a tiny little box that you put your Vita games in, and it plays it on your TV or anything that you plug it up to via a HDMI cable. And it uses and it uses your PlayStation 4 controller. So maybe you have a PS4. Usually what I've seen a few pricing for the PS TV for like $50-$60. Some of them I think brand new are about $100, which really is not that bad. It's less than used Vitas are going for, which is about $150. So you're still saving a little bit extra money, but it gives you an option if you want to play those Vita games that we mentioned earlier that probably are not getting ported. So Yeah, options.
days.
There are options everywhere when it comes to Otome, so definitely check them out, and do what is best for you.
Also about mobile games as well. They're there as well.
That's a whole nother podcast. There's too many to cover. We just wanted to cover like the physical versions, even though I did cheat a little bit and put Amnesia in there. But Amnesia is so well known, and it was the first Otome game on the Vita, so even though it's only digital. But you can buy a special edition version of it, either with a Steam code or without it. I bought it without because I have it on the Vita. Actually, really funny story. When I first got the Vita, my husband bought it for me for my birthday one year. And that month that I got it, like I got it like late in a month. So the next month I bought the PlayStation Plus, and that next month Amnesia Memories was free for one of their monthly games. I was like, dude, what? This is like meant to be, because like that's why I wanted the Vita, was because I wanted to start playing some of these visual novels, and I was like, this is literally meant to be. This was insane. So yep, downloaded, played the crap out of it. That is a long ass game. And then the next month it was Code Realized, the first one. I was like, no fucking way. This is great. It was yeah, perfect time. It literally was fate. It was meant to be. So yeah, but yep, there's the Vita games and then the Switch games. If you're listening to this before the dates, I believe, let me check my calendar because it is in my calendar. It is June 23rd. I believe it's called New Games Plus with a plus side. I believe that's what it's called. It is a online con, I think is what they're calling it. It's for kind of smaller companies such as Axes, Otome, Idea Factory, at least to the west, smaller companies, I believe. Oh my gosh, there's like a huge list of companies that they're doing a live stream, and during that live stream they are announcing their games for the next year. Atlas, Sega, Gunho, NIS. Some of these names are cut off, so I don't know them all, can't see them all, but it's June 23rd, I believe, which is a Tuesday, which is a very strange day to have something like that on. I believe it starts at 8 a.m. They have not, as of recording this, released any sort of schedule. I'll link their Twitter down below. They have a very, very, very simple website that literally just shows like the companies that are participating in the event. So I would imagine it's probably going to be all day with all these companies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 companies releasing. Usually each company, depending, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour, they talk about their games for the future plans. So I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be an all day thing. So keep your fingers crossed that Axes kills it for us, and maybe Idea Factory will finally hear our calls and pleas and bring us the rest of the Amnesia games, as well as the rest of the Hakuoki games. I would be okay if they ported the Hakuoki games and said, and we are releasing other Hakuoki games that have not yet been released in the West. I feel like even though I have it on the Vita, I may rebuy them again on the Switch if they did that. Like, that would be the only thing to egg me to buy a ported Hakuoki game. I know you probably would. You probably would buy the shit out of it, but
oh yes.
Unless they did some sort of special pack. If they did some sort of special package with everything and had it as one, like sold it as one bundle, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but I do want to speculate. So maybe we'll get something. Maybe NIS will surprise us. I don't know. But you know what? I hope Axes takes a home run for us Otome fans, and I hope that I'm betting on on 5 games. I've already told Wintie how many that I was betting on. I was betting on, I believe the Mafia game has a port. Oh, it's called like 1942, I think it's called. I think that's what the fan disc is called. Something 1948. Or 41 or 42. I don't know. 1940 something. And I think that comes out in a couple months in Japan. So I feel like it would be a good move to announce that towards the end of next year, since it hasn't come out yet in Japan. It would make sense. And then 3 or 4 new titles that are new to the West. I don't want to go too high in numbers, so I feel like that's a safe number for them to do.
Yeah, I agree. And if they ever decide to port any other games, I hope that they do port. They don't like make it like their main goal just to port. I do feel like, I mean, I'm glad they brought 2 new games, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they concentrated a lot, well, 3 new games, but they concentrated a lot more, I think, this year on porting, mostly Code Realize.
Yeah, essentially.
And, you know, so I do like the thought of porting, because like I'll give people, you know, people who obviously never had a Vita, you know, are just hearing about these games now, you know, you have a chance to get it on the Switch, which if you guys, you know, don't have a Vita, you guys do want to play these games, get it on the Switch if you have a Switch. But I mean, they need to, I wouldn't mind that they keep porting, but if they make sure they are continuing on with like new games as well.
Yeah. So we'll see. June 23rd. That's D-Day for us. That's D-Day.
We're gonna be on Twitter. We're gonna be like crying our hearts out to each other, saying hopefully.
I'm like borderline tempted to like request that day off, because I feel like I would be a hot mess at work. A hot mess.
I wish I could request it off, but I have like.
You're like,
I don't think I can.
If I knew when Axis was going to be announcing their games, I feel like if they did it later in the day, I would be okay. I would be okay with going back and like looking at the other companies like stream, like putting it on in the background as I do something else. But I mean, obviously, my main concern is, when is Axis going to be announcing? What's their time frame? I need to know, is it going to be in the morning, afternoon? Like, what am I going to need to do to prepare myself? Because I don't want to be at work and have a mental breakdown and they say, yeah, no more Otome game this year. We're skipping a year, guys.
I would be so mad.
I feel like that would be almost like suicide for them. Like, that would be, they would upset so many people. So I don't think they will. I believe we'll get something. I don't know what we'll get. I know what people have been asking for. There has been some games that people have been asking for years. I don't think we'll get them. I love Lovers. I don't think that will ever happen. But maybe they'll announce a new company that they're partnering with and not just Otome games. I would be down for that. I would be down for that. I would, even if it made it so they only had maybe 2 Otome games and maybe 2 of the other company, like I would still be okay with that. But yeah, I guess, well, only time will tell. And if you maybe we can do maybe if we just shut off the internet until we got home, and then we can record together us watching the live broadcast and maybe doing a live reaction.
Oh my god, that'd be fun. I think I'd do that. Yeah, that'd be
I feel like I may need to have an adult drink with me to get through it, but it'd kill me. I feel like that would be really, really fun. I'm gonna have to like tell people like, do not message me. Like I would have to like not turn on the internet, because someone's gonna be like, oh my god, did you see this? Did you see this? And like link me, and like I could not. Or just like mute Twitter for like until I got home, because someone's gonna spoil it for me. Someone spoiled it for me last year, before literally minutes as I'm into watching the live stream. Someone's like, hey, someone linked the games. And I was like, I wanted to have the reaction of watching it being announced. I hate spoilers. They kill me. So we'll decide that at a later date if we can actually hold off until, hopefully, you're not working late. On that day, I work till 3:30, so it's gonna be
schedule's all over
day.
the place right now. So we shall see.
It's such it's gonna be a long day.
Oh yeah.
But thanks for listening to our big ol' rant, reintroducing myself, you guys having an introduction to Wintie. Again, you can follow me on Cooking Claw 2_0 on Twitter. And Wintie, where can they find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Yuki Hinabi X on Twitter, and just if you guys, oh yeah, my YouTube as well, which is Yuki Hinabi X as well. You can find me on both those platforms. If you just want to talk about Otome, reach out. I don't mind talking at all. I'm always willing to meet some new people.
We're not shy. We will fangirl with you. It is okay. But I'll link as much information as I can remember to link about the live stream, where to find us, her YouTube. Obviously, if you're on this video, you know where my YouTube is. Any information that I can, you'll find it all down below. And definitely share your thoughts, speculations. Maybe you've listened to this after the 23rd and you've had a reaction. And maybe we'll have a reaction too. I don't know. I'm really bad with patience and waiting, so we'll see what happens. Either way, we'll probably talk about it, either if it's a live reaction or us either sobbing over the news of happiness. Hopefully it's tears of happiness and not tears
I
of
so
sadness. We don't need any more tragedy in 2020, okay? Axes, you need to save our hearts. Our Otome hearts cannot be broken. We need to have happiness. So
what was the year that they had like nothing released again? I remember that one year there was something that they released nothing, and I'm trying to remember what year.
It was 2 years ago because I was at Anime Midwest, and it was the same because they did it at AX as they usually do, and it was the same weekend as Anime Midwest. I was in Chicago with several of my friends. I was in a hotel room. It was me, my friend Shanna, Gigi, and our friend Val K Inc. We were sharing a hotel room, and like the next day I woke up and I was like, guys, I had a nightmare last night. And like it was kind of adorable because everyone was like, oh my god, are you okay? How bad was it? And I was like, I had a nightmare that Axie's only announced one Otome game for next year. And then they all started laughing. I was like, it literally killed me. I was so upset that day when I like looked up the live stream. I was like, what? And it was just a fan disc. It was just a fan disc. It wasn't even like an actual full-fledged game. It was a fan disc. I was so devastated. Because literally
I poured my heart out to you too.
But like that year they had like the Summer of Mystery where they have those 3 games come out, and then I think they had the second Code Realize game, so they had 4 games that came out that year, and then they're like, yep, just gonna be a fan disc this year. And I was like, what?
Yeah, they broke our hearts, so you guys better not do it again.
Don't
Hear
do it
me,
again.
Axes.
Bring the rest of the games of Nord 9. Bring us the fan disc of those. I can't get something. Even if it was just fan disc year, where it was like fan disc for the Mafia Boys, fan disc for Amnesia, like I would be okay with that if they did all of them, but they won't.
Oh yeah,
I know they won't. But
don't break my heart.
A girl can wish. Our girl can hope and wish. But that is our rant and our introduction. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know if you've enjoyed. Hopefully you have. Especially if you've gotten this far. I hope you're at least we're entertaining you this far in the game. But yeah, until next time, the next podcast you're going to see from us is we're going to be talking about a seasonal anime. Yes, a seasonal anime, not a game. It takes some preparations to get into talk about an Otome game. This is not easy, guys. So we don't know what Otome game we're going to talk about. We may talk about a game that we've both have finished already and just talk about the game in general. But our hopes is, like I said, to do kind of like a book club where we're going to play a route, talk about a route, play the next route, talk about that route. And then have maybe like our final thoughts where we say, it's best to play this game maybe the first couple of minutes will be non-spoiler, and then we'll just spoil the shit out of it after that. Because I mean,
Oh yeah, you have to.
you have to.
spoil.
I'm the kind of person where I'm like, man, I really want to talk about this, but I don't want to spoil it for someone. And someone's like, oh, you can spoil me, and I'm like, oh, listen, listen, Linda, listen. That's me. I don't want to spoil people if they don't want to be spoiled, but they're like, oh, I don't care. I'm like, look, listen, I need to get this off my chest. So, but yes, so stay tuned. We have great things planned. Definitely let us know if there's an Otome game that we haven't mentioned or that you love. We want to know because we want to connect with fellow Otome fans. Otome Armada, we are here and we are not going anywhere.
Oh, definitely not. We're here to stay. Embrace you all.
But yes, and have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you. And until next time, bye, friends.
Ciao.